Greetings. Sorry about that. Greetings, FilmTube. I don't know if that's the name, but let's go with that. This is going to be my first video, and I think probably my best, because I don't know if I could ever top this month's haul. I decided to do all of them together. This was not done in a single paycheck, which thank gosh, because that would have been freaking expensive. But yeah, I'm excited about these because it's a mixture of movies that I really wanted, that I got for great prices. Thankfully there were a lot of really good sales, but also stuff that I had been wanting, especially for my film knowledge, that, you know, I got for crazy savings. I got really lucky, and that's probably why I went a little overboard, because it was just, you know, luck find after luck find after luck find. It was just incredible. So I'll get started on these right now, and I'm also going to do an actual like unboxing. Most of these I'm not going to unbox for you or show you what's inside or anything like that, because it's already been done. Most of these have already been out, or they just came out, and you know, somebody else has already done the unboxing, probably better and with much more simplicity than mine. But there's two of these that I feel, or from what I've seen, have not been examined on YouTube, as far as I could tell. Maybe one or two people there. So I'm gonna give it the old college try. So the first one is The Wonderful Worlds of Ray Harryhausen Volume 2. And this one was, yeah, it was a limited edition of 6,000 copies. And funny enough, this actually went out of print before the Volume 1 did. I'm assuming probably because Jason and the Argonauts, and also, from what I understand, I have not seen it yet, but First Men in the Moon is also kind of highly regarded out of Ray Harryhausen's work. But this is one of my finds. It had been on my list since I first heard about it, because even though I'm not a Ray Harryhausen fan in the sense of I knew his work, seeing these box sets put out by Indicator sparked an interest in me to look him up, and then I discovered a bit of what he does, what his influence was on filmmaking. And I'm someone that, you know, whether or not I'm a fan of a specific film or not, if it's important culturally or important cinematically in terms of cinema history, I want to own it and watch it and examine it and study it and discover what, you know, what it is about the movies or series that was influential or special or important. And in this case, Ray Harryhausen, for those of you who don't know, is probably the most influential special effects artist in the history of cinema. There's two little quotes on here from two of the filmmakers, a Mr. George Lucas and a Mr. Tim Burton. And one of the funny anecdotes in here in the little booklet is that Tom Hanks considers, and I don't know, maybe he could have just been, you know, being funny, but semi-serious or not. But he said, forget like Casablanca or Citizen Kane or something like that Jason and the Argonauts is the best film ever made. So I watched that. It was the first one I watched, and I enjoyed it. You kind of had to take these movies for what they are. They have been surpassed in terms of visuals, in terms of epicness, and all that. But there's still, Jason and the Argonauts still held up for me in terms of enjoyability. I was happy with it. And yeah, there was some campiness and stuff like that I'm not used to, but at the same time, there was a charm to it that makes me eager to explore more of his work, which I did with the second film that's not on here, but it's The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, because I am eyeing that Sinbad box set. And that one, I don't know if I could get as cheap for this one, because since this is out of print, you're looking at like $120 to all the way up to $200. See, even for like used box sets. But this was not only brand new. Oh, I'm sorry, no, this wasn't brand new. But It was very good condition, and I got it for $54. I just couldn't pass that up. I don't know. Maybe the person, out of the goodness of their heart, decided not to make a buttload of money and just decided to, you know, give this at a reasonable price to someone who would enjoy it. But I was very lucky to snap this up. And just so y'all know, I just found out this out today, but this is apparently called a belly band or something like that. So that's interesting. But this comes with Mysterious Island. Oh, that's backwards. And Jason and the Argonauts. First Man in the Moon. And little cool bookcase, or booklet, I should say. So I dig it, and I'm very excited to look at more. I think what I'll probably do now that I've seen Jason and the Argonauts is go in order and watch Mysterious Island and then First Man in the Moon. Kind of save what's supposed to be the other best one for last. So, and then eventually, maybe in a month or two, get Volume 1 and check out those movies. So, Ray Harryhausen Volume 2. My recommendations, but if you don't care, if you're somebody who just wants to see the movies and you don't really care about like special features or anything like that, you don't really care about reading the essays because they add value, but not a huge amount, I would say, in terms of, like, there's some good essays, but like if it's not that important to you, just get Indicator's standard releases, which unfortunately, I don't know the specifics, but apparently Jason and the Argonauts was given to them, but like in a certain sense where they have the rights to release it, but not in their own way, if that makes sense. Because they were able to package the other discs to, you know, with all their own specifications and design and stuff like that. And so now that this is out of print, First Man in the Moon and Mysterious Island is now standard releases by Indicator with no booklet or whatever, but they have the same special features. However, Jason and the Argonauts is not. If you want that one on Blu-ray, you're gonna have to get the is it Columbia? Yeah, Columbia Pictures Blu-ray that they have, which I believe is also region free. Which is all these are region free, so that's also amazing. The second one that I got was Sam Fuller at Fox, and it comes with 5 of his movies, which is Fixed Bayonets, Pick Up on South Street, Hell and High Water, which is a submarine movie, I believe, or a naval movie, House of Bamboo, and 40 Guns. And I was eyeing this set like a month or two back, and so in preparing to decide whether or not I wanted to get it, because I had never seen any Sam Fuller, I got from the library Criterion's Blu-ray of 40 Guns, and that one, it was good. It's billed as a kind of feminist Western, which I think for its time it is, and certainly to certain respects it still is somewhat feminist. It's female empowering, but the fact that she, you know, here's a strong woman who's tamed by a man, I think would not really tickle the fancies of modern day feminists. Although I would say it certainly does have a female empowering message. And it's a really good movie. It's in black and white, if I recall, and it had its really good moments. There's a certain kind of classical Hollywood theatrical acting that I don't really jive with all that well. I can still recognize it as good acting. It's just I prefer more kind of realistic acting that, you know, that is now prevalent in Hollywood and just cinema around the world. But for that, I still think it's a really good movie, and one that I will definitely rewatch, especially on this one with its special features. I'm interested in watching A Fuller Life, which is directed by Samuel Fuller's daughter, Samantha Fuller, and has interviews with a bunch of directors that were influenced by or knew him or were his contemporaries at the time. And the only other Fuller that I saw before getting this box is House of Bamboo. And this one is, I wouldn't say as good. You know, there's a kind of like hard-boiled kind of classical, like noir-ish story and acting to it. It's worth a watch, I would say, especially if you get this box set, or if you're interested in Fuller. But I wouldn't run to make this my first viewing. Although I think the setting in Japan is interesting, and I will definitely watch the special features. And from what has been recommended to me, is my next watch is going to be Pickup on South Street, which is another kind of gangster noir movie that he made. And this also comes with a booklet. And you know, there's a couple of essays per movie. I think 40 Gun looks like it has the most essays, so you can see that. And they put a little blurb in here, asking or suggesting that we read Samuel Fuller's book, A Third Face, which is about, you know, because he was in World War II, so, you know, it's talking about his writing career, his World War II experiences, as well as filmmaking, with a foreword by Martin Scorsese. So I am going to get this for sure, and then I'll let you guys know if it's worth a read or not. Samuel Fuller is another film director that's kind of quasi-forgotten outside of cinephiles, and but I am interested in his oeuvre, if that's how you pronounce that word, and we'll see how it goes and what I can glean from his experiences. Now this is another movie, or another box set, and this is the one that I'll kind of give a semi-breakdown of, or showing of, and that is Eureka's late Mizoguchi box set, which 8 of his movies, and this is now my most prized possession, more dear to me, and has more value to me than anything else that I really own, outside of like computer that has a whole bunch of save files on it or anything like that. This is made by the last, pretty much, I don't think it's all exactly like last 8 films, but 8 of the later movies by Kenji Mizoguchi before he died, being I believe the last one he made was Street of Shame. That was his last movie, and then he died. But why this is valuable to me is, one, this is another movie that I got that was a steal. I got this for $124 on eBay, and you're not really going to be able to find this sub $250 and that's $250 if you're lucky. I've seen it go to $400, $500, $600 on eBay, Amazon UK, stuff like that. I don't know how I got this. I don't know how nobody, it's like anybody who was interested in this was not watching on eBay that day, or that week really, when this bid was going on, because it's just me and one other person, and that person bowed out very early. So I got this for a steal. And the other reason why it's valuable to me is because, one, this is a giant of Japanese cinema, being Akira Kurosawa and Yasujiro Ozu, both revering and looking up to Mizoguchi and his work. They were both very influenced by him. So on a film history standpoint, you know, this is something that is important to me, as well as just, I have seen 2 of these movies already and loved both of them. Both of them moved me to tears, being Ugetsu and Sancho the Bailiff. And those were the Criterion versions that I saw. Sancho the Bailiff is actually up there on my bookcase. And, you know, Kenji Mizoguchi was considered in a lot of ways a woman's director. He was someone who grew up very aware of the struggles that women faced in Japanese society, especially at the hands of men. And so a lot of his movies were about the sufferings of women and their sufferings at the hand of the whims of men, or the ambitions of men, especially in Ugetsu. And this is still really relevant in a lot of ways today. I mean, women have been subject to a lot of suffering and pain since probably recorded history by a lot of men, and especially to this day with women all around the world. You don't even have to point to really underdeveloped or third world countries. Even in developed countries, and especially in the US, women are still being pushed around or either in strong or subtle discriminatory ways by men, whether it's at the ballot box and in terms of politics, or just the amount of domestic abuse that is still inflicted on women. And so this comes with a few movies that actually are not in print right now in Blu-ray. I don't know which ones they are. I'll put it in the description below. But Ugetsu Monogatari, and this is all of these 4 cases come with 2 movies each. So this comes with Ugetsu, but also Oyu-sama, which I have not seen. I've only seen Ugetsu, but I think Ugetsu and Sancho are both great entries. Like if you want to study his work, I would highly suggest starting with both of those. They don't really come with much except for just the disc, and then the insert on the inside has the chapters. And it's the same way with the other ones. This is Sancho Dayu, which is Sancho the Bailiff, and Gion Bayashi. I don't know, is that Sisters of Gion? Because I know that's another Mizoguchi movie that I need to get to, but I don't know if they both have the same name, but I don't know Japanese to be able to say if that's the exact same movie. This is Chikamatsu Monogatari, which I believe is also on Criterion, and it comes with Uwasa no Ona. And I'm probably butchering these names, but that's the best I can do. This is Akasen Chitai, which is Street of Shame, and that's the last movie, the one about prostitutes that he made. And then the other movie is Yokoichi, Imperial Concubine Yang, also known as the Princess Yang Kuei-fei, which is a Chinese legend. And they don't really come with many special features. Usually like maybe one or two of them come with commentaries, or little introductions, or some sort of like maybe essay, especially by Tony Raines, who is apparently the UK's resident Asian expert. So he's in a lot of Arrow, Eureka, BFI, Asian releases. But the amazing thing about this release is that it comes with a 344-page book. Just so much writing about this man. And this is going to be before I even, because I'm going to buy a Kenji Mizoguchi book, but just, essays and other stuff like that on each of the films. Some of them, I think, like the bigger ones, Ugetsu and Sancho get a few more essays than the other ones, and obviously with pictures and stuff like that. But this is now, like I said, my most prized possession, and it's the one that I was the most excited to get. I just could not believe my luck, and I don't think I could ever part with this, even if I find the rest of his films not as compelling, or maybe disappointing because of compared to Sancho and Ugetsu, which I doubt is really going to be the case. But even if that's the case, this is still going to be very important to me and to my film knowledge. And so this will be my last movie that I'm going to show you, but just so you know which it is. This is Derek Jarman's Volume 1 from the BFI release. This one I found not as good of a price. It was like $180, $160, something like that. Still great, especially because I got it brand new, and this has just been out of print and hard to find. But as far as I know, there is no YouTube unboxing of this video. There's a kind of BFI video where they show you in little like stop motion thing of what's in here. But as far as I know, no YouTuber has shown what's in here. The next one that I got was RoboCop by Arrow, limited edition. This one, I'm not going to do an unboxing of it, but just to let you know, this is a blind buy for me. maybe, I think I've seen a little bit growing up here and there, and I definitely, after I watched, I was a big fan of that '70s show. When I found that Kurt Redwood was an antagonist, you know, I had to watch, I guess, like a clip or something like that. I wanted to see like what he was doing in this movie. So, you know, I'm excited for it. I know it's highly regarded. I don't know if I'll love it, but you know, I just had to grab it. It's a limited edition Arrow, and you know, if you don't get them, you know, when they come out, you're gonna pay, you know, more, unless you're extremely lucky. In some cases, you might, you know, luck out and find something awesome. The next one is Bored to Death season 1. Unfortunately, there is no box set of all 3 seasons. This was a show on HBO, and I don't know how exactly to describe it. This is a very quirky, very idiosyncratic movie, TV show that I don't even know how it was made, but it's very similar in terms of Arrested Development. That, you know, there was a couple people watching it at the time it was out, and it was, you know, it built up a passionate fan base, but unfortunately it was not enough people, and they canceled the show. And so, but after it, you know, it started to come out on reruns or physical media, it built up an even greater following. And so this is definitely a show to check out sometime. It's very funny, very quirky. It's about a crime author who decides to actually go into, you know, being a sleuth. And it has Ted Danson is hilarious in this, and Zach Galifianakis plays a like superhero writer, comic book writer, who I think I can't remember exactly what it was, but apparently his comic book hero had like a big strong or something like that. That was his superpower, and he had a couple of diehard fans that eventually became his crew, and it's just really funny. I really recommend the show. Just, you know, if you can find it cheap or at the library, just check it out. And if you really like it, which you probably will, you know, get the Blu-rays, because I checked it out. I popped one in, and it still looked pretty good to me. This was another one that had been on my list for a while, and another one that I got at a steal, and it is the Blu-ray edition of Band of Brothers and the Pacific. And I'm really sorry about that light. I try to put a shower curtain in front of it to try to diffuse the light and maybe remove some glare, but doesn't look like it works. So next video it'll be fixed. But again, this was a steal because I found this on eBay for like $22, and the reason why nobody was picking it up, I had looked at it and I was like, oh, it's DVD. It was marked as DVD, and so I wanted it on Blu-ray, and I think that's why other people were passing by. But then in one of the pictures, you know, out of the corner, like all the movies were like turned, you know, not upright, or they were upright, but you couldn't see, and so you couldn't tell if it was DVD or not. But one of the discs in one of the pictures was sideways. It was sideways enough that you can see, and you can't really, I'm not going to try to do it now, but you can see the little Blu-ray loop. And so I took a chance. I paid the $22, got it here, opened it, and sure enough, all of them were Blu-ray. So I got this for a very reasonable, very good price than what I would have paid, which was like $50-$60 eventually, something like that, maybe 40. But yeah, Band of Brothers. I mean, what can I say that hasn't been said about it? It is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, miniseries of all time. I think, to this day, the best World War II movie, or World War II cinematic anything ever made. Better than Saving Private Ryan, better than The Thin Blue Line, and a lot of pretty much, you know, Clint Eastwood's World War II movies. I think it's just the best World War II story ever put to film. And the Pacific has, you know, it's very good, and especially very good miniseries, but just not as good in terms of some of the writing. I think I'll have to rewatch it. Maybe it'll go up even higher in my estimation, but I think the fact that it, you know, had certain sequences, especially back in the States with John Basilone, perhaps maybe slowed it down a bit. or was not as interesting to me at the time. You know, I wanted a World War II movie, not a at home World War II movie, essentially, or show. I don't know why I keep saying movie, but this is another one that I don't know why I got it. I got it at the UK Amazon, and I just saw it. I looked it up, and it's Mermaid Blu-ray Steelbook. Damn it. But anyway, this is Stephen Chow, who directed Kung Fu Hustle, who directed Shaolin Soccer. How could you not really see that cute ass face and want to take it home? I still haven't watched it, but you know, it looked interesting. It's considered, I guess, China's biggest movie in terms of box office. Made like $1 billion or something like that. So it's supposed to be funny. Maybe not as good as Kung Fu Hustle or Shaolin Soccer, but still funny, quirky. I still need to finish Journey to the East? Yeah. And I'm gonna take this off. I don't know what y'all do with these J cards, but this one is just kind of too flimsy. So I like to fold these up actually and tuck them inside the steelbook because I like to keep them for reference later, stuff like that. I don't throw them away. This one I picked up on Black Friday, and the only reason I wasn't gonna get it because I was like, I don't want to be selfish, you know. It's limited edition RoboCop steelbook. I didn't want to double dip, and you know, what if there's another super fan that wants to take it, you know, to get this movie. So especially somebody who's already seen it and loves it. But you know, Best Buy, Black Friday, I was just perusing. I wasn't really gonna get anything, and people walking by it. And, you know, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to take it home with me then. And I don't know if I'll ever open it. You know, the limited edition box already has everything that this one does. This is probably the most beautiful steelbook I've seen so far that I own. I think it's gorgeous. So I don't know if I'll ever open it because I don't really have a use to open it. I'll probably just keep it sealed. And if one day I ever decide, you know what, I've had it for long enough, so it's time for somebody else to enjoy it, I'll sell it on eBay or something. Offer up, I don't know. All right, so this is Criterion's The Man Who Fell to Earth, and this was not on my radar, especially because it's out of print. But I watched a Daisuke Beppu video about some OP titles that he had. I think it was one of his earliest videos, and what caught my eye about this one, what he liked about it, is that it actually comes with a book, the book of the movie, published by Del Rey Ballantine. And so I don't know, I just really, you know, I didn't find it for too expensive on eBay, thinking that it was out of print, but the DVD, I guess not enough. A lot of people are super into the DVD, like the Blu-ray, but I wanted the book, and which is why I'm also going to get the Digipack version of Picnic at Hanging Rock, because I want that book to come with the movie, and if I love the movies, I'll read the book. So I'll watch the movie first, and if I love it, then I'll get into the book, especially because it's so short. But yeah, another blind buy. I don't know anything about this movie, so I'll check it out and then let y'all know. Earlier this month, American Werewolf came out, so I'm not going to do an unboxing. I'll just say that as I'm not a huge horror fan, I don't know a lot about horror, and I don't appreciate it as much as other people do. I mean, the horror that I am interested in is more for artistic and cinematic taste, really. I will watch any horror that is influential, that is well crafted and made, that it just isn't for the sake of being a horror movie, because I don't get enjoyment out of being scared. So, you know, like Alien, I had to watch. It's Ridley Scott, and it didn't really scare me, but I found it very compelling. I thought it was very well made. So this is, because it's also supposed to have comedy elements, I'm interested in watching it, although I'll probably watch it with somebody, just, you know, to have somebody to hug up on if it gets too scary. Another one that I got this might not even have been the same month, to be honest. I got this release date, whenever that was, so it might have been last month, but it's Arrow's Old Boy limited edition. And Old Boy is a movie that I've seen and that I'm a fan of. So as soon as this was announced, I had to have it. I had to own. I had been wanting to own Old Boy in the best format that is possible. So, you know, I had to get the limited edition. So I've not seen the other movies in here, and which is another thing that really pleased me when it came out, was that I really was interested in seeing more of this director's work, Park Chan-wook. So as soon as I can, I will get to watching all of these. Probably, I don't know, I don't think I could watch them all back to back to back if they're all just as intense as Old Boy is. So yeah, very happy with this one. This is going to stay with me for a long, long time. All right, because this video has gone on long enough, it's time for Jarman. But before I open it, or as I open it, I should say, the reason why I got this one is because, again, I am interested in cinema history. I'm interested in studying films because, as I didn't mention, I am a budding filmmaker. This channel isn't just going to be for collecting movies. It's also for filmmaking and to study movies and to share my experiences as I learned. So, Derek, you know, LGBT or queer film, however you want to call it. I want to study it all. I want to know them all. I want to see Boys in the Band. You know, I've seen a couple of other LGBT movies. I need to see My Beautiful Laundrette, which I have in Criterion. I still have not gotten to yet, I know. But I've seen The Birdcage, and recently I even saw the French original, La Cage aux Folles, I think it's pronounced. But, you know, here's another box set. A whole bunch of movies just fell down. But, you know, this is probably a good place to start, that I've seen a couple of these on here. So I'll watch the rest, and I'll watch Derek Jarman's work. I've seen Caravaggio. That's the only Derek Jarman movie I've ever seen. I got it from the library because I wanted to know if I should get this. I would have gotten this anyway, but it was good. You know, it's not a typical film in terms of following a specific plot. It's about, you know, it goes back and forth from Caravaggio as a dying gay man, or bisexual possibly, to someone who, you know, in his earlier years, in his young years, especially when he's very young, played by, I don't know his name, the actor who is, he's actually in Band of Brothers. I'll put his name down below. So his younger years, when he's discovered as a young painter and brought to the church to paint for them, and his older years when he's still employed by the church and other wealthy patrons. And this has, I think Caravaggio has like the first, if not one of the first, Tilda Swinton's appearances. And she actually did a number of collaborations with Derek Jarman throughout his life. Even, I think the last movie she made with him might have been The Garden. I don't know. I'll have to get back with you on that. But, you know, to one of those director-actor collaborations. So, I don't know, the belly band doesn't want to go up top. But this comes with the first, you know, from 1972 to 1986. And here's the back of the belly band if y'all want to pause that. Comes with, like, you know, just a list of special features that it comes, a couple of short films, things like that. And so, there she blows. I don't know why, but does anybody else like smelling? Sometimes I just like it's like almost like new car smell. Like I have to smell a new, especially box set from Arrow, Indicator. They just smell nice. Okay, so first one, The Shadow of the Sun and Sebastian. Here's the, again, following the pattern. I don't know if all the discs are going to follow the same pattern as the outside, but yeah, it looks like the inserts have some snapshots or you know, damn it, what's the word? You know, just a screen capture. Although, is that like some kind of large phallic thing that this guy has in between his legs? These are all region B, unfortunately, so you're going to need a region free player if you want this box set. Which, you know, if you're a film collector, you gotta have a region free box set. You know, there's just too many great releases across the sea, across the pond, that you're missing out on if you don't get them. So this one, the next one is Jubilee, which I've not seen. It's supposed to be another sort of kind of freeform, you know, art house movie that doesn't follow specific conventions. I think that's probably what a lot of his movies do. So it's the same pattern, but just different color. Yeah, I'll get better at this. I promise. So the next one, this one is The Tempest. And as I watch these, I'll come out with videos describing them and like what my thoughts are. Probably like a big Derek Jarman video. You know, I don't know, especially for the regular kind of film audience. I don't know if you're not interested in all of his work, you know, this something like this may not be worth it. But because a lot of his movies are available through other platforms. Criterion has like one or two. Kino Lorber, I think, has The Garden, and maybe, you know, the BFI has a couple of individual releases. I think one for Jubilee for sure, one for Caravaggio, I think, and this one is Caravaggio with Tilda Swinton, who, you know, what else can you say about her? She's just one of the greatest. So, and here it is, the booklet. And the backside, there's more to discover about film and television through the BFI, our world-renowned archive cinema. Festivals, films, publications, and learning resources are here to inspire you. So here are the contents, special features, that kind of jazz. You know, it does come with essays per each film, pictures, stuff like that, painting. That's young Caravaggio. That's the actor who you'll recognize him. He's not, you know, someone that you'll always know the name of. Most people won't know his name, but he's been around. You know, you recognize him from things, especially Band of Brothers. And if I remember correctly, I believe he's more of a director now than an actor. So this I'm very pleased with. I'm very happy to get to explore this and have this and add this to my film knowledge and film collection. So I believe that's it, and I hope this video has pleased you and has interested you, I should say. This is my first one, so we'll see where this journey goes. I hope it's a good one, and I hope that y'all like it. You know, to watch this, I'll watch this later and just laugh at how inarticulate and how stilted I am in my delivery, but you know, I'm happy with this. So thanks, FilmTube, which, if you all want me to stop calling you that, I don't know what else to say in terms of what is a better name for the film community in YouTube. BookTube's got BookTube, AuthorTube, you know, PencilTube. That's probably not something. So I'm gonna leave that at that. Thanks, y'all.